13-Week Theater is supported by Patreon. Subscribe now and get exclusive early access. That 70s Show was a surprise hit for Fox and one of the few bright spots in the network's 1998 television season. As time went on and the show's following grew, Fox and the series creators were eager to try and capitalize on the success with a spin-off. But how do you do a spin-off of a show that's so firmly set in a time period? If they wanted to document characters off on their own, they'd either have to set it in the same time frame, weakening the central conceit of the show, or a different time frame, risking continuity errors with the main show. Then some unknown hero came up with an answer. Don't spin off the characters, don't spin off the plots, just spin off the conceit. 70s Show co-creator Terry Turner took on the job of trying to catch the decade-based lightning in a jar a second time. However, his wife Bonnie, who created that 70s Show with him and came up with the show's title, passed. Turner signed on his other co-creator, Mark Brazil, who based the fictional town in That 70s Show on his own hometown. And to take his wife's place, he tapped writer Linda Waller. The new program, known from the very beginning as That 80s Show, would center around struggling musician Corey Howard, played by Glenn Howarton, and his co-worker and love/hate interest Tuesday, played by Chyler Leigh.
You mind if I put this on?
Oh, the happy sound of Black Flag. You having a bad day, baby?
Well, I'm pretty sure my girlfriend dumped me for a woman.
Happens.
My music career is not a career.
Happens.
And my hip dad wants me to get in the game.
Man, my mom stopped telling me what to do when I was 17. Of course, I was living with Jim Morrison.
Joe. Punk rock rooster, 12 o'clock.
Oh, Corey, that's the...
Did you just make some small-minded middle-class comment about me, bud? It's about my hair, isn't it?
No.
Okay. So when you go to the barber, what do you ask for? The Blue Lagoon?
What do you ask for? The Stegosaurus?
Oh, ow. I'm so not going to the prom with you.
Tuesday, this is Corey. Corey, Tuesday. Tuesday works here now.
Also in the mix were Tinsley Grimes as Corey's Valley Girl sister Katie.
Right, I'm making candles.
They smell like death.
Death or pina colada.
Death.
Eddie Shin as young Republican trendoid Roger.
I'm embarrassed to be seen with you.
I'm embarrassed to be seen with you.
What happened to you?
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 Best friends?
Best friends.
Jeff Pearson as Corey and Katie's father.
Mother and I split up.
That happened 2 years ago.
I know, I just love saying it.
Margaret Smith as Corey and Tuesday's boss and former rock groupie Margaret.
Where's your Lionel Richie section?
Let me think. P-Q-R. Oh, yeah, it's up my butt. Get out!
And Brittany Daniel as Corey's bisexual ex-girlfriend. Most of the show's action would be spread between Corey's home, Tuesday's apartment, the record store where they worked, and a nightclub called Club Berlin.
The creators of That 70s Show take on the 80s.
In your dreams.
In your hair.
What does that mean?
I don't know. It's the new hit comedy, That 80s Show.
What are we gonna do about Tuesday?
I don't know, Corey. Sleep with her?
An all-new episode at 8/7 Central tonight on Fox.
That 80s show debuted on January 23, 2002, and immediately flopped. So, what happened? Now, to start with, the success of that 70s show had nothing to do with the decade it was set in. People fell in love with the characters and storylines. And if you were to pick them up and drop them in just about any other decade, they'd still be enjoyable. That wasn't the case with that 80s show. From the first shot of the series through the very last minutes, that 80s show shoved the 1980s in the audience's faces.
Behind the wheel of a large
I deserve a large automobile.
with a beautiful wife.
I deserve a beautiful wife with beautiful breasts.
How did I get here? When the days go by, let the water hold me down. When the days go by, water hold me down.
Chase on.
Come on, Leigh. Oh, I swear that I mean everything.
It wasn't just the setting for the show, it was the show. The writers tried to cram in as many 80s jokes and references as possible. And then there was Roger, who was every 1980s stereotype crammed into one unfunny character, and the go-to character for anything trendy in the 1980s.
Is that a new couch?
I just got it today. The old one wasn't working with my parachute pants. Every time I sat down, I'd slip off and end up on the floor. Damn! It wasn't the couch.
The show struggled in the ratings, and being on a different night from the show, it was a quasi-spinoff from didn't help. Finally, someone at Fox realized that this might have been a mistake and decided to team the two shows up for one special night of 2 decades of comedy on Tuesday, May 6th. There was just one problem with that. That 80s show had a road trip episode coming up, and by coincidence, that week's That 70s Show episode also featured a road trip. So Fox decided to jump ahead and show the 2 road trip episodes together. The episode of That 80s Show that they skipped, not much happened on it, except for the record store that Corey and Tuesday worked at burning down, leading to references to the destruction that went over audiences' heads in later episodes. The pairing of the 2 shows gave That 80s Show a boost in the ratings, but not enough. The next night, Fox aired the 13th and final episode of That 80s Show. Intended to be a season finale that could double as a series finale, the episode features Corey and Tuesday confessing their love to each other and concludes with the 2 of them kissing. A perfect ending to... Oh, wait. Remember how I said they skipped an episode?
What happened?
Electrical fire. The good news is I'm insured. The bad news is the whole place didn't go up. Damn sprinkler system.
After Fox aired episode 13, they decided to go back and burn off the previously unseen episode where the store burned down, completely destroying the storyline and ruining the perfect ending. A sort of final up yours to the few fans that the show still had. After the disaster that was That 80s Show, Glenn Howarton co-created and went on to fame on It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia. Chyler Leigh got some less obnoxious haircuts and went on to fame on Grey's Anatomy and Supergirl. And series co-creator Linda Wallum went on to fame on Melissa Etheridge. In the end, That 80s Show went on to be a footnote in the long list of failed spin-offs on American television. If the joke about the 1960s was that if you remembered them, you weren't there, then That 80s Show proved that if you remembered the 1980s, you wished you didn't.